You have to show yourself you can trust yourself. People are like, oh, I don't feel worthy. Worthiness is not going to come over you. Trust is not going to just wash over you. It's a practice. Because what you start to see is that the more you listen to those whispers and you're obedient to them and things start working out for you, you're like, wait a minute, maybe there is something larger guiding me. Maybe I can trust myself. Because when I follow through, things start to align.
Hello, my love. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast here on YouTube. I am going to ask you to take just a moment before enjoying this episode and go and hit the subscribe button. It not only helps the show, but it helps the channel. And I only want to continue to bring you incredible content and beautiful video content here on the YouTube. So just take a moment before enjoying the episode and hit subscribe. Thank you. Hello, my loves. You are in for such a beautiful treat. I have my dear sister, Loralei Bayette, here on the pod, and we span the gamut of some deep, deep topics. I really have just been cherishing and wanting to share the conversations that I have with my dear friends on the phone when no one is listening. And Loralei is just the way her mind works, there is just such depth and power and magic in the way that she thinks. And she always, I feel like every time we get off of the phone and off of a conversation together, I feel like I have a new perspective and a way to look at things and a deeper level of accountability to my power and to my emotional processes. And there's just an expansion that comes with being friends with a woman of her caliber. And it's just so beautiful to get to share someone like her with you. So enjoy this episode, my loves. Honestly, this is another one you probably want to grab your notebooks and take some notes, and you're going to just receive so much wisdom and really deep accountability to your next level through this conversation with Loralei. I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Loralei Bayette, my queen, my Scorpio queen. I'm so honored. Thank you for coming up for our conversation.
Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you, babe. So I've been really, really intentional about who I asked to come on for this series. And you're a newer connection, a newer friend in my life. But last year, just in a pure and total Scorpionic way, you have shown up for me in some of my strongest moments, my deepest moments, we won't get into the details, but you know what I'm talking about. And you've just been so present for me, even as I was moving through some really deep, intense healing portals and shame portals last year. And at the time we were both living in Orange County, and just the way you show up. And I know Scorpios, like, you can take a minute to warm up, but I always say, like, if a Scorpio loves you, you should win like a life trophy because they see something. And I just feel so honored and so grateful for our friendship and our connection, and even just you like making the gesture to come up and be with me. And
of course,
I know it's a little bit of a trekkie poo from where you're at.
I'm always down to come.
I know, but I just love you so much. And I'm in awe of you and our conversations. I think that was one of my biggest motivations and inspirations to do like 8 interviews in a couple of days, because every single babe that I've had on the show for this series is literally people that my phone conversations are like, if we could record them, like, I just think it would be so life-changing for people. Definitely. So that's really our intention for this conversation, is we're just going to be like, we're on the phone and we just get into it. Plus our Sag moons.
Oh,
we love to have a gab. But Loralei, like, tell my babes a little bit about yourself. Like, where are you from? What do you do?
Yes.
Lift the Scorpio veil for us.
Okay. First of all, thank you. And I love you.
It's my honor.
So I was born in Los Angeles, raised in San Diego. Now I live in Orange County. That's a lot of information. Don't stalk me. And right now I analyze culture and study human behavior to help leaders expand their power and influence in life and relationships and business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are a sales magi.
Yeah, influence. Sales
Yep.
is an application of influence.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that we can influence in social situations, in sales, in marketing, in relationships, the way that we're being influenced, understanding power literacy, the way that we negotiate or make decisions, that's all under the umbrella of influence. And anyone that calls himself a leader, I feel like, should understand those things.
100%. When you say power literacy, what is that?
Understanding how power moves and works.
Mm-hmm.
When you
It's the
understand,
most Scorpio thing ever.
I know, right?
I love it.
I thought about that. I'm like, that is girl. But yeah, I really feel connected to helping people embody their power because they forgot.
Mm-hmm.
And we all forget
mm-hmm.
in certain times, and I don't mean that in like, oh my God, embody your power, you're such a queen. Like, no, it's not superficial. It comes from a very deep space. And that can go from anywhere from, negotiating your power in relationships all the way to the way that we're influenced by algorithms that are fragmenting our energy and hijacking our nervous systems. So I like to look at it on a micro level and at a macro level, because it's important. When you understand it, you're not bamboozled by it.
Yes.
And I've been bamboozled before. We've all dated someone, we're like, oh, so yeah. I won't go into detail about that, but
like we can.
I mean, what woman hasn't dated some colorful people in our 20s?
We've had good conversations about that and the lessons that come through. With that awareness of, like, let's say power literacy and like the experiences that you've had, how would you apply like your awareness and wisdom towards past experiences? Like, what would you have maybe spotted earlier or said yes to or said no to? Things like this.
I mean, I think it comes with experience. I don't know if I could have done something differently. I had to go through the experience, but as time went on and I integrated the lessons and used the people outside of me as mirrors to almost be my guru, to show me where I need to, heal and evolve, my body became an instrument of discernment. I've really fine-tuned that instrument. I know that instrument well. So when something's not in congruence, I can feel it immediately and trust it because we have it. But I don't know if I could go back in time with the experiences that I had, because it took time for me to decondition myself, call certain aspects of myself back home, and to know myself. Outside of, how I was
and it's
raised.
Like we need those experiences legitimately. I actually love how you answered that, because that was sort of like me projecting like my own process right now. And looking back on my journey, which like the 12-step work I do, and a lot of it is looking back on like behavior patterns and just like discerning where I can take accountability and really witness my process. So I was just curious if, but I also do, while I am looking for those patterns, I also love and honor the experiences that I've had and how they've created me into the woman that I am now. So if you answered that, you were like, no.
It's like a video game.
It really is.
It's like, you can't have regret when you realize that the previous experiences are preparing you for the next one. We go to school, we go to high school, we go to college, and we pass all these tests. It's the same thing. I'm getting closer. That's how I see it. I'm getting closer. I'm more prepared than I ever have been before because I didn't victimize myself in that situation. And you don't ever do that. That's something that we vibe on completely, is that when there's something in front of us, how can I take full accountability for my part in this and actually do the work? And then it's like you pass the video game level and you go to the next one,
Yeah, it feels so millennial because like I loved video games and I feel like people don't know that about me. But I love that comparison, babe, because it's just like, instead of seeing the things in my past as like mistakes or mistakes. It's like, actually they were just levels to beat. And I love the level that I'm at in this moment. And you've been a really big part of my healing, but also what I really like in the last year is like, you're very much a seer and you're very much a truth holder. So you just don't let it slip. Like, you're just like, I was saying this with my babe Leo too, because he's a Scorpio. I'm like, sometimes if I'm just being silly and skating on the surface, you just look at me, you're like,
right.
Just hold some space. Okay. So what is like your excitement and your focus with your work right now?
Oh my gosh. I just, I used to be a coach for so long, and it's kind of like evolved over time. I used to help with feminine embodiment, with alchemy, with energetics, with self-development, with, helping people become multiple six-figure earners in the space. And that chapter, I closed it. And now I realize, influence, power dynamics, helping people with their leadership. And I just enrolled to further get certified as a futurist because, I don't think I've told you that.
No.
Yeah.
See, it's like we're on the phone. Tell me more.
I know.
This is so freaking cool.
Yes.
What is that?
So there's 3 parts of my work that I see clearly. And this feels more innate to who I am. Have you ever worn a title and you're like, that doesn't really feel like me, but I'll write it out?
Yeah, that's how I think I felt with just the soul energy of the astrology stuff.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm an astrologer because I don't consider myself just that.
Right.
That would be my only thing I can think of.
That's how I felt about coaching. It's like, I can coach, but that never felt right to me all the way. And when I discovered strategic foresight, it was like, oh, this is beautiful. And specifically with leaders. So the first part is the embodiment of the leader. I can't ignore that. What place are you coming from, first of all? Then we can apply, how to negotiate, how to have influence. But the futurist part is the third part. Where are we headed? And how do we prepare? As systems and culture shifts, influence shifts.
Yeah.
AI is out right now. No one's trusting the internet. And if you can't trust the internet, then how does power reorient itself?
Yes.
How does work reorient itself? How do we market if no one trusts anyone and everything's noisy and everyone's getting offline?
Wow.
So strategic foresight allows you to look at the data and confirm what I've always knew all along. I've always been like, this is going to happen. And then the wave happens. But now I get to bring, data and analysis to it in a structured way. So I'm really excited about that.
That's so fucking cool. I cannot wait to hear more about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So something you and I have talked about is like this idea of like a trust recession.
Yes.
Tell me more. I want to hear your thoughts on that and in what context you're witnessing that.
I think we're in a trust recession in so many different ways. It's layered. So number one, you can see it in buyer behavior. People are like, the gold rush, 2018 to 2022. It was like, that cost $10,000. It's vague. I don't know what it is, but sign me up for the vibes. Here's $10,000.
Yes.
You can get away with being vague. They just want it, now people are like, wait a minute. What am I spending my money on? What's
100%.
worth it? So we have, we have to orient to that landscape. And we're also in a trust recession online. What can you trust? What can you trust? Can you trust institutions? Can you trust politicians? Can you trust yourself is the most important part. And I think that's a trust recession that we're in that's often overlooked. And that's the work that I do, because if you trust yourself, you don't need to trust anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Fuck yeah, I do. And also, I love how I haven't cussed in a while. In all my interviews, I'm like F-bombs every other. So how do we trust ourselves? What is something how do we begin? Because what's funny, babe? In my like recovery journey right now, and just doing a lot of really powerful self-inquiry, my biggest download was around self-trust.
I think, what's crazy? When we were at dinner.
Yeah.
I think I told you that too. I remember saying, I think your thing is to trust yourself. And I think that was one of the first times we actually were like, I don't know. I can't.
Was it when we went to Nobu?
Krista's book thing.
Oh yeah.
And I
was
was like,
I was
like
deep in because I had just got divorced, like maybe like a month.
Yes.
Yes, babe. That's crazy.
It was kind of ominous.
But it took me time. Of course. Because like I don't think I recognized I even was like talking to Leo last night, and we went into a really deep conversation around healing the trust wound.
Yeah.
And really, I want to hear your
No.
thoughts on that, and like, well, and how we can approach it,
Let's
because
vibe.
this is such a, I think it's an unbelievably nuanced topic. And of course, I wish it could be as easy as 1, 2, 3, but it's like, what's your approach, or what are you seeing?
Yeah. Well, there is an approach to it, and I'm going to talk about it, and there's a couple different ways I'll talk about it. But when it comes to trusting yourself, this is the precursor for discernment, for intuitive decision making. And I'm trying to think of the first step, because I have a process. I have a process that I call introspective intelligence that allows you to interpret the data that you're receiving in your body and see what's true and make congruent action from that. But there's a step before that. Number one, you need to be connected to something larger than you. If you don't feel held, if you don't believe that something somewhere, even if it's your higher self, I don't know what you want to call it, is guiding you, it's really hard to kind of surrender to the moment.
A million.
It's so hard. And for me, what my practice was, in my early 20s, I had a spiritual kind of therapist. And I remember she was guiding me to begin to orient myself to my inner landscape. And when you can recall your energy to the present moment and back to your body, and even as you're listening to this, if you can just become aware, there's data in your body. And can you be obedient to that data? You have to show yourself you can trust yourself. It's not, people are like, oh, I don't feel worthy. Worthiness is not going to come over you. Trust is not going to just wash over you. It's a practice. Because what you start to see is that the more you listen to those whispers and you're obedient to them and things start working out for you, you're like, wait a minute, maybe there is something larger guiding me. Maybe I can trust myself. Because when I follow through, things start to align. And what's simple to do is also simple not to do.
Yep.
So most people are like, yeah, okay, next TikTok, okay, next article. But really, can you make a practice of going into your body before you ask others, what am I feeling? And let me tell you this, when you go into your body, you don't try to force the answer because you go into your mind. You allow the answer. You become receptive to the answer. Because sometimes when I do the work, it's like, I don't know, is anything coming up for you, like an example?
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to tell you what it is, though.
Why?
Okay. So today, if you're a woman who makes money or wants to make more of it, but still feels overwhelmed, disconnected, or unsure how to actually lead your finances, I created Magical Women in Money just for you. MWMM is where money meets self-trust, strategy meets intuition, and women stop outsourcing their financial power. Inside, I teach you how to organize your finances, understand your faulty money habits, align your earning with your astrology, and build real wealth for your future without shame, pressure, or feeling like you're behind. This is a personal finance meets astrology method that works. It's grounded, empowering money work for women that feels approachable and soulful. Join the waitlist for Magical Women in Money membership, MWMM. The link is in the show notes. I mean, and I've been really open about this in this season and just talking about this part of my life. I see for me, it's more around trusting my discernment and choices with men that I choose.
Yes.
And I had a really funny interaction with someone this morning, like at the hotel that I'm staying at. And it's really interesting because I trust that my higher power is guiding me in all situations. And showing me the mirror, like even because I'm not dating and I'm not doing anything like that right now, as you know. And it was funny because like this was a person I would say that I see as my total physical type. So there's that attraction there. And it was interesting because he was like, his energy was talking to me all over the place. Then Leo came into the gym. This guy maybe thought we were together. I don't know. It was just like the energy got very jumbled very quickly. But then when I walked out of the gym, like 5 minutes later, he was like waiting in the hall and then asked me like where something was. And I was like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? And then took out my AirPods and I was kind of like a little bit like cutie googly. I was like, I don't know. And he goes, okay. So I asked him his name and he doesn't ask me my name back. And I was like, I clock things and it's not to be like, oh, you need to like hit these marks. But I started going into my body and being like, I feel confused about what is going on right now. But also I know that I'm not available. So to even like engage is probably not like my best choice. However, I do appreciate having these mirrored reflections of like, where am I at with the male species right now? And like, how do I feel? Because partnership and a family is something I would love to experience. So to land that, I just feel like my nervous system, when I started asking my body today, like, how did that interaction really feel? Is that really something that you would want to ever stay available to? And not even to say that that was presented, but I was like, no, because to feel confused so quickly and like this person kind of needed me to give so much signaling, I was like, that's already very laborious and it felt very over the top for me. And just beginning to be able to trust that and trust that, you know what, God, universe brought me that experience this morning. And it's also showing me the mirror of where I'm still not ready and available, and also how I want to feel when I am engaging with a masculine presence in my life with the potential of like a romantic partnering interaction. So I don't know if that's answering your question. I can't believe I just shared all of that, but that's really something that I was like mulling over today.
That experience showed you, it gave you the opportunity to slow down a very clear process.
Yes, which is an important one for me because nowhere have I derailed my life more.
Yeah.
And you know about my journey than not choosing a healthy, aligned man to be with. Like, and so that's a really important place to test this theory for me. Friendship as well, but that one's a little, I would say if I had to choose a word, that one is easier for me because there's less loaded energy. But 100% being able to practice something like this in that space is so important to me. Like it means a lot to me.
Yes.
So
definitely. I mean, thank you for sharing that because that is part of the process. And sometimes when we're caught up in a whirlwind, we don't slow down. You had no choice but to slow down because you don't know this person. You want to kind of decipher how you feel. But clarity is your best friend when it comes to trust. So you have a feeling, that's data. You interpret the data. What does this feel like for me? And then what does that mean? And what am I going to do with that information?
Yes.
Those are the kind of gates that we practice, especially when you're charged.
Yes.
It's easy to do when the stakes aren't high. It's difficult when one aspect of you is fearing abandonment and the other aspect of you is feeling like something's missing.
Yeah.
Who's going to win? They're negotiating with each other. Let the negotiation begin. You know, so part of trusting yourself, and you know this, is listening and following through. It's really that simple.
And not like what I'm hearing as I'm listening to you as well, babe, is like, it's like not talking ourselves out of things.
Yes.
Why do we do that?
Well, going back to what I said just a few seconds ago, you sat and you received the data and you held space for the data. You have practice coaching. Not everybody has that practice. So it's already embodied. So the way that you're receiving that information, you're slowing down, you're receiving the data, and you're allowing, but if I go, what are you feeling? And you go, what am I feeling? You're already in your head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
We want to abandon the mind, abandon logic. This is a survival tool. This tool, our brain, is wired for survival. So in that case, let's abandon it because that's not even our most sacred sense. Let me surrender the mind, get into a state of allowing, and not try to make anything happen. And when the data comes up, I trust it. That's self-trust. It's not self-trust when you start negotiating with your own knowing.
A million.
That's the opposite of self-trust. That's the opposite practice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But when you are in that state, because of course you can move through it faster the more you practice, when you are in that state, you need to excuse yourself and write and get clear.
A million.
What is my clarity?
Love that.
I'm pissed at my partner. I'm going to go take a bath. I'll be right back. And you go and you get clear. That was my practice. Before I, engaged, instead of processing with him and my non-clarity, it's overwhelming for other people. I'm like, he's not empathetic. He's not compassionate. Like, he's so rude. Is he rude, or are you spilling out everywhere?
Yes.
Go. It's okay to express emotion, but it's not okay to offload it onto other people.
Absolutely.
So my practice was to excuse myself. And this doesn't have to be in relationships. It could be with any trigger. The moment you feel a visceral impact, you need to investigate it. The moment you're online and you go, what? That's crazy. Hold on. That's your cue. Step back. Investigate that, because you're being hijacked. Your nervous system being hijacked. Is this true? Is this headline true? Because now we're having a whole reaction over something we haven't even investigated yet.
Wow.
You don't even know how you feel yet. And now I'm having this whole conversation with you about it. Same thing with your partner. You're processing with him. You don't even know how you really feel. You don't even know what your clarity is. You're being enveloped by a dysregulated nervous system. That's one of the, there's 3 simple rules of negotiation. That's one of them, is to be regulated. Because you lose your power. You lose your sense. You lose your clarity. Then what do you have?
Absolutely. That is profound, because the amount of times in my life that I know I've just allowed myself to get hijacked in the moment and have a full-blown reaction, that a lot of times when the dust settles, in the context of my life, either A, it doesn't matter, or B, it wasn't even true and it was a total misinterpretation of whatever was going on. So I just love what you're offering, babe, because it's like, just to be able to take that space and move back and be with what's there. Like, it's not like bypassing. I think if anything, sometimes when I get triggered by things, I'll notice, and I'm grateful for the awareness, but it's like, I'll notice where I just scroll on, or I start to look at, and I want to shop, and it's like, oh, wow, okay. What are we avoiding right now? What's the fear? What's going on here? Yeah. What is going on? And it's like, I want to switch gears a little bit, because something that you and I have been really discussing is this energy of influence and leadership, and how important that is in the spaces that we move, and having, presences online, whether they're, whatever the size of the community. But for someone who feels like they just are not influential, or they don't trust that powerful part of themselves, and they want to use it for healthy means, not manipulation.
Of course.
What would you advise someone who's, a lot of women in my community, I will say, they're so powerful and they're so heart-led, and they're the gamut of things that they're up to in business or their careers. But I will say, something that I do witness a lot is this fear of their own power and this desire for leadership with self, but an avoidance of it as well. More on the extreme side, but I've definitely seen that quite a bit.
What's an example of that?
I feel like, which part? The self-leadership or the influence?
Both.
I would say, honestly, one thing I see the most is this really, a lot of women in my world are very spiritual, and they're, you know, they're me. Like they have the gifts and the attunement to heart and the attunement to soul, but they really crave to be stable in the world. And they know that in order to do that, they need some level of visibility and self-trust. And the extreme fear of like coming out and being like, this is what I do, or holding an event, or asking for more money, whether it's in their career or it's in their work, their business, their offers, it can come up and be very, very stifling. And another thing I think I witness a lot, maybe on the self-leadership piece, and this might sound a little bit non sequitur, but it's definitely this lack of patience. It's like the willingness to self-lead over time. It's like, no. If it doesn't happen now and I can't hit it at this time or get this level of, it's like they want the immediate guarantee before they're willing to commit to a long journey.
That's good.
What do you think?
I think that.
What's your Scorpio? I love how serious we get. We actually, when we talk on the phone, we're so serious.
We're so locked in.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. We can do both.
Like,
thanks.
I know.
Thank you. No. But first of all, going back to the trust recession, you need to be coherent. You need to understand influence because you need networks of trust in real life.
Yep.
We're going the future is analog. We're going to be utilizing it as a tool, but you know, but the first thing you said was about self-leadership.
I think more so around how can someone who doesn't feel totally connected to their power still feel like they have the possibility of being like healthfully influential?
Well, number one, why do you want to be influential? If we're still operating from the paradigm, and this is very common online, this is why when I talk about being a coherent leader, what I mean is to not be fragmented. And there's certain things that fragment our energy, but we all are fragmented in some kind of way, you know, and algorithms exploit that.
Yeah.
And so we have to call all these aspects back to ourselves. And when we do that, the more we call these aspects back to ourselves, because let me give you an example. Right now, I'm not fragmented, and people can feel that. I don't have a part of my mind that's saying, how do I look? And am I saying the right thing? And did I do this? And we live in so many different places. There's a part of me that wants to do really well. And there's a part of me that, you know, a lot of people live that way. So when you walk in a room and you're congruent and coherent, everyone assembles around the most coherent person, because the most influential person in the room has two things in common. The first thing is they have a high heart rate variability. What does that mean? You're grounded. You're relaxed. You feel at home in the moment.
Wow.
The second thing is you're congruent. There's nothing dissonant. What you say, what you feel, what you believe is all in alignment. So I don't have to figure out, because on a subtle level, we're very sensitive beings. I don't have to decipher, like you said with that guy, he was incongruent. You're like, I'm confused. This is weird. Like, you're incongruent. You're saying this, but I feel this. And it's exhausting.
Yep. It's exhausting.
Yes.
It's like, ask me a question.
What are you trying to say?
What are you trying to say? And why the fuck you waiting out in this hallway for 5 minutes?
Just get on with it.
Yeah.
But also we have that inside of ourselves. We're not congruent within ourselves. And so if I ever feel like I have any trepidation around doing something, again, I inquire why, and I do rupture and repair. Why? Because I always operate under the assumption that that doubt has something valuable to tell me.
Wow.
I don't go, let's do a worthiness practice so you can feel worthy. No, let's drop in and get inquisitive. What is that part trying to tell you? And let's listen, because it's valuable, because it's instructing you. And that's where your power comes from. It comes from your core micro moment ability to listen and be obedient to what's coming through. I don't have to think about the future, but more so, that's real self-leadership to me. And when you do that, the path is so easy. And you start small. If you're feeling overwhelmed, Your nervous system you're fragmented. Your nervous system is in disarray. Step 1, relax, ground, come back to your body, come back to this present moment. What's the present moment instruction do I have access to right now?
Yeah.
And when you're really overwhelmed, the only thing is stand up. Okay. Get a glass of water. Okay. Get in your car. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay. But what happens is you start to get in momentum. Yeah. I've had some of the biggest launches in my business, not because I copied somebody else's strategy, paid them for somebody else's strategy, but because I listened one micro moment at a time, and it led to the most juiciest, most exciting thing that I could have never thought about on my own. Wow. That's self-leadership. Mm-hmm. And that's when I go, you can drop me off anywhere in the world and I can trust myself. I trust myself. And guess what? Every step that I take and every room that I enter, my frequency carries information. You can feel that. But that's about me first, the place that I'm coming from. A goal is not a place to get to, it's a place to come from.
Wow.
From what place are we coming from? And then the second part is, are you leading us because you're trying to market yourself to solve your financial problem?
Oof.
Or do you have something bigger than you that you're willing to die about? What is your vision?
Wow.
Because if you're not connected to it, then of course you're caught up in your ego. It cannot sustain itself. It needs challenge. So I can't help but go to the starting point of that question. What place are we coming from, and what are we inviting people into?
Oof. Okay, let's just have a moment.
Yeah, sorry. That was a lot.
Oh, sorry for it. If you're standing at the edge of a major life, money, or business transition, and you know the next chapter requires a different level of support, this may be your moment to work with me one-to-one. There are 2 ways to do that. The first is my year-long total life transformation mentorship, a deeply supported journey where we work on your money, your vitality, and your visibility so the growth you create is embodied and sustainable. The second is my signature one-to-one money and business mentoring, focused strategic support to help you stabilize, grow, and lead your finances and business with clarity and confidence. Both are for women who value refinement and are ready to build a life and business with intention, time spaciousness, and depth. If you feel the call to work with me one-to-one, the application is waiting for you in the show notes. That was so fucking beautiful. And I remember many years ago, someone wrote to me and they said, Natalia, I hate to tell you this, but this person copied and pasted your entire guide that you created and they're using it as their freebie. I'm sorry to tell you. So it just so happens that I knew a person who knew this person, mm-hmm. and they were obviously able to take them down and be like, it's not mm-hmm. okay to do. But they gave me really good insight. They said, yeah, she just quit her corporate job on a whim. And she, hired a coach and was told to make a freebie and do all this stuff. So she's in this rushed energy. And I love how you just spoke into that I don't even think I can repeat back what you said, but it's just are you seeking to influence us to solve your financial problem?
Yes.
And I feel that is one of so many reasons why I'm so passionate about the financial organization mm-hmm. piece.
Yes.
Because I know what it's been like to be in seasons of my business where I was just learning really, really intense lessons about making money, having money, running a business, and where my energy was coming mm-hmm. from in those seasons and those lessons. And versus when there's stability at the core and there's more mission and root impact at the core. Because that's the only thing that's really going to keep you. Money will burn you out. Doing something solely for money. For me.
For validation.
That was one of my DOCs as well, drugs of choice for sure. But it's really beautiful just to come back in my own process and see that mission is the only thing that sustained me over time, because it's the only thing that gives me energy to keep on keeping on and to figure things out. Not the validation burns out, the desire for more and more and more money burns out. Mm-hmm. But the mission, I think, is what I'm just tying to what you're saying, but it's having a mission and like a desire for improvement, to see something improve really, and for me in this at this season of my life, I'd say it's definitely around the financial organization for women, and then being very woo-woo in that process. But I don't know, it just fascinates me because it's like, I think also I'm curious if to be influential, we need to know what we burn for and what matters to us as individuals and what we want to see change.
Yeah, because one of the pillars of influence is deciding what reality we're in. It's not just influencing outcomes. It's me deciding what reality we're in. And I'm inviting you into a frame. And if I don't have a frame, I can get lost in someone else's, which is probably what's happening. They go online, they lose their frame. Oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not this. On a sales call, somebody has, a little righteousness. Now your price is too high. Oh, how can I? Oh, well, how can I make this digestible for you? You just lost your frame. Now you're in her reality that it's not affordable.
Yep.
Now you're in her frame. You need your own frame to invite somebody into. You don't trust somebody without a frame. So influence is, what reality are we living in, and inviting you into mine. Or I can go into yours, but I'm not about to just surrender to your frame. And people don't know that they're doing that all the time because they're dysregulated.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 ways that we negotiate our power, and that what gets us in some of these sticky situations. The first one is leverage. I love what you're doing with money, because if someone doesn't feel financially empowered, then who has leverage over them?
Yeah.
Or what's the illusion of leverage?
1,000,000%.
A rich husband, a corporate job. And now if you don't have walkaway power, then they can negotiate with the part of you that's fearful.
Yep.
If you don't like yourself or trust yourself, now you're on social media and they can negotiate with the part of you that wants to be validated. I can negotiate with all these different fragmented parts of you, but you can't do that when you know who you are and you have a frame.
Wow.
Even on a sales call, I see this all the time. People losing their frame completely.
Wow.
And abandoning their own knowing. But when you're on a call and you're calm, even though they're nervous, and you're like, that price is really high. Oh, compared to what? Oh, you're too needy. Oh, okay. In a relationship, that's too much. You're too needy. Okay. Well, this is what I require to feel safe, and you don't have to do it, but this is just what I need to feel safe. I'm inviting you into my frame. I'm not abandoning my own frame.
Wow.
And that's what gets in the way. So it's leverage. It's regulating yourself so that you're not so compelled to be needy or fill in the space. I mean, you really lose a lot of influence that way.
Yes.
Yes, it can't be quiet. You're coming out of yourself, and men understand this.
They really do.
Men understand this.
Yes.
They're like, I'm going to disappear and I'm going to come back in 3 days and she's going to be better. Not all men. I'm just saying some.
Yeah.
They understand that.
Which part?
All of it, but they understand. They understand how to negotiate a little better.
Absolutely. Why do you think that is?
Because they have been taught to be less emotional, even though they are.
Yes.
In different ways.
Yes.
But they actually, part of their brain stays calm when there's mild irritation. Whereas a woman, our physiology, we can kind of feel like the sky is falling if there's mild irritation. We're like, this happened.
Yes.
And they're still grounded. That's the best negotiation tactic. The best influence tactic is to stay calm and regulated in your own body. And then you could be clear, and then you could make moves. You know what I mean?
Yes. I had a really cool, amazing conversation with one of my clients. And we were just talking about like feeling safe online and like feeling safe if you ever get a dissident comment, like how quickly can you down regulate your nervous system? Doesn't mean you're supposed to be a stone wall and nothing impacts you, because that is a part of resilience and it is a part of being influential.
Yeah.
It's just like conflict or dissonance is part of the journey. But she said that a long time ago, she had, maybe it was a coach or like a friend, where she brought this idea up to him of like, what do you do when someone's like giving you a hard time online? Because it really scares me. And he goes, it doesn't bother me. They just disagree with what I'm saying. And she was like,
It's
wow,
neutral.
that's wild, because when that happens for me, I feel like I'm going to lose my entire business and my entire livelihood. And I was like, isn't that interesting how the different paradigm.
That's a frame.
Yes.
That they're operating in.
Yes. And not to say all women think one way and all men, but I will say, especially when I was in my relationship and I would bring things to, my partner, like, he definitely just had a very centered way of giving me reflection that was always helpful, because I would be in maybe like a survival loop or like a fear loop. And I was just like, no, here's another way to think about that. And it always really calmed me down. And there were also things that he just didn't bother him at all. He's
regulated. That's one of your superpowers. I mean,
yeah.
If we don't start anywhere as a person, as a leader, especially, it is your duty to be regulated.
Absolutely.
Because it costs you your clarity.
Yes.
And it costs you your quality of life. And non-clarity is very expensive.
Yes.
Very expensive.
Oh my God. Reflecting on my journey, I realized that I've had this business for 8 years. I started rolling in 2018. So I was thinking about how when I started, I was so in my Aries cuckoo cuteness, like not cute. Like I remember I had one student, she and I just really butt heads. It's really funny because she was a Scorpio and I used to really have a rough time with Scorpios. Now I was thinking today, I am surrounded by Scorpios and you guys are all like really dear people to me that I'm very close with. But I think there was a time where I just didn't have a mature frame and I was very ungrounded. And I think for Scorpios who are so truth associated, it was very, very annoying. So I definitely had interesting experiences with Scorpios a long time ago.
Well, they also have to be grounded and integrated.
Yeah, we exacerbated each other. Like there was just aspects of my immaturity and my fieriness that really ticked off their intensity and need for like control. It was fascinating to look back on it. But then it is interesting because over the years, going through a lot of like overstimulation and not being regulated, I've had to truly learn how to be regulated.
Yeah.
And even just going through recovery in the last year, I started noticing how the only people who can really get my goat are people who know me and who have an understanding of me, versus if it is someone that does not know me and I know that they don't know me, it might bother me in the moment, but I can downshift so quick. Whereas it used to be the other way around.
Wow.
If you were close and in intimacy with me in any way, I was like, nah, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't value that exchange. And if you didn't know me and you were a random comment or a customer that was not happy, the amount of like outsized interaction I would have with it would just be so huge. So it's just fascinating to think of like the growth markers and regulation. And I think business really teaches, it's taught and guided me on where I have misalignment and where I'm coming back to center. So babe, I just have a couple more questions and we'll close it up. Okay, let's talk about our dads. Because I feel like that's been a big journey of like being understood in grief and not having our dads on the earth anymore. But how do you feel your life expanded and shifted after? Like, did you feel guidance from your dad after he passed? Or did you feel like there were aspects of your life that improved or got better?
Of course. Grief is the most alchemical emotion that you can feel. I mean, it envelops you and you are transformed. It's like, I've never been a mother, but I anticipate that the gravity of birth is just as transformational as the gravity of death. It has to be.
Yes.
It has to be. And I wish we honored that more with mothers and with people who lose people.
Yeah.
It's so not honored. It's like people don't want to face those things. But anyway, similarly to like becoming a mother, I assume it's a rite of passage to me. Every death, I lost my father, I lost my brother, and my pet, my kitty. But every single death has had its own assignment. And I think I shared this with you. It's almost like, you know, when you run a race, the track race, when they pass you the baton and then you take the baton and you run. That's how I feel when they move on. They're passing you a baton, and that baton is all of their wisdom integrated and to be metabolized by you. I don't know if you had that experience, but don't you feel like you knew your father in a different way than you ever could have when he was here?
Absolutely. And I feel like this might sound kind of odd. I don't think anything sounds odd to you, so I'm just qualifying that. But I don't know. I do really feel like after my dad passed, I started connecting. I have to remember that who he was when he was alive, there was a lot of, I couldn't connect to the fullness of him. And now I can.
Yep.
I experienced, and this is a funny choice of words, but it's like, I feel like a cleaner connection with him now, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I think something you and I really connected on, and I remember we talked about this in the summer when I was really in my grief process. I just feel like I feel his guidance and I feel a level of healing that I've witnessed in both my brother and myself since my dad passed. And I actually had 2 different mediums tell me that he's healing the gene line from where he is, healing the ancestral line. And I feel that, and I can't obviously logically explain it, but I've never been better than I am now. And I just keep getting better.
Yes.
And my brother too, he's doing well. My mom is actually thriving as well.
Yes.
So it's just I don't know that I would have expected that.
Of course not.
Because it was my biggest fear. Yes.
It's like me trying to anticipate what it's like to be a mother. I don't know.
Or the birth experience.
You can tell me all the things in the world I won't know till I get there. I'll have no clue. Yeah. It's just, that's the truth.
That's the truth.
And that's how I felt. It's a rite of passage. And you become someone new.
Yeah.
And that is their most loving gift that they give you.
Oh my God.
It's like their next act, their grandest act of love.
Yeah. I remember someone told me after I lost my mentor, David, they were like, he can do so much more for you from where he is. And I really feel that with my dad and just the way he's helped me and guided me over the last year. And even though I miss him physically, it like still rocks me sometimes. Like I have an altar for him in my office, and so I look at pictures of him and pictures of me when I was young with him. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm never going to see you again. Like,
it's weird.
Physically, you know? And, but at the same time, I think that's the gift of existence is it's like one thing is taken away and like a million more things fill its void. And I would have thought that like that loss was going to destroy me. And it didn't. Yeah. It like made me expand actually.
Yeah. It destroys you first, maybe.
It did.
But then you're put together in a new way.
The process did.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that after your father passed, you started healing wounds with the masculine.
Absolutely.
Because that's what happened to me.
Really?
Yeah. I had a very colorful upbringing. And I remember my therapist who I had seen for, I don't know, 5 years at that point. And I was like, I just feeling a lot. Well, first I went numb. This is someone I spoke to every day, you know? Yeah. And I saw this quote and it was like, God will continue to break your heart until it remains open. And that's exactly what, I don't think anything could have brought me back to my body. I was a very disassociated person.
Yeah, so was I.
And it shattered me back into my heart and I started feeling. And then from there, I started really healing and being available for intimacy. And that I thank him so much for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so grateful you came into my life and you're just so You're next level, dude. Like the way your brain works, I'm just like, what? The last question I've been asking all my guests is, what's a message you have from your future self to you now?
I just feel the first things coming up is just be present and savor every step. It's all what it's supposed to be. Really be here. Be here. Nowhere else.
Love that.
I was telling someone just before I got here, like, I've been off my phone, and I was realizing that I live in a very loving and kind world.
Wow.
Because if you attune to it, you'll find it.
Yeah.
And the more present you are, the more you can savor your life, and the more love that can happen. And, you know, I don't know if I can even project out into the future. It's just like, be where you are fully. Yeah.
Love that, babe. I'm so grateful for you, Loralei, and thank you for this conversation and just for your presence in my life and just bringing your wisdom, and keep me posted on this futurist work.
Oh, you're going to see it. It's going to be great.
I can't wait. I'm so proud of you, and I'm just so grateful for you.
Thanks for having me. I love you.
Thanks.